accept our invitation.
Thank you very much for invitation to this program. It's a great pleasure.
Yes. إذا مشاهدينا الكرام ستكون الأسئلة باللغة العربية وستتم دبلجتها للسفير ثم يجيبنا عن ذلك في الأسئلة المتتالية. طيب أولا سعادة السفير نتحدث عن هذه الهبة التي تقدمت بها سفارة اليابان لمركز أمل بولاية شلف. انتظار الدبلجة. نعم.
Tell us about the donation made by the Embassy of Japan to the Amal Pedagogical Center for disabled children in the state of
about
Shlif.
this donation.
Okay, well, first of all, again, thank you very much for the invitation to this program, and this is a great pleasure to be with you. And thank you very much for your interest in this grant assistance that we made to the association AMEL in Shlef.
Okay.
And it was a donation for the purchase of educational and other materials for the education and training of the children with mental handicaps in that center in Shlef.
Yes.
And the amount was around 6.6 million dinar.
اوكي ذاتس جود. طيب السؤال الثاني حول هذه المبادرة التي تدخل أعزائي المشاهدين في برنامج كوزانون لدعم التنمية من طرف الحكومة اليابانية لدعم المشاريع المصغرة والمساهمة في الأمن الإنساني. هل فيه مبادرات أو مشاريع أخرى هنا في الجزائر؟
Human security. Are there other innovative or projects here in Algeria?
الصوت.
This innovate falls with the former work of the Kazanan program to support development by the Japanese government to support micro projects that contribute to human security.
Yes, okay. Well, this donation was done as a part of our grassroots human security grant assistance.
No.
And we have been doing this kind of grant assistance for more than 15 years.
No.
And we have already granted the similar type of assistance to civil society groups, for example, in Mascara, in Medea, in Satif, and in Gardaia, etc. So we have been doing this for a long time here in Algeria with the support of the civil society groups and also with the support of Algerian government and relevant ولاية.
جميل جدا. طيب معالي السفير، هل لديكم استعداد لنقل خبرتكم في التعامل مع الأطفال المعاقين وذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة للجزائر؟ So, do you listen to the question?
No.
Are you ready to transfer your experience in dealing with disabled children and those with special needs to Algeria?
So, the question is about, are you ready to transfer your experience in dealing with disabled children and those with special needs to Algeria?
Well, we have already granted similar assistance to other civil society groups in other area of Algeria, and the assistance to the association AMEL was the latest one. And with those past cases, we were very much impressed by the dedication of these civil society groups for the help in people in need. And there was also many volunteers who helped those associations, and also there were also support from Wilaya and Wali. And I noticed that there is this very strong sense of solidarity in Algerian society. And I really felt that this was a kind of a strength and the resilience that Algerian society has, and I have a full respect to that.
وأنا أحترم هذه الميزة في الجزائر وفي الجزائريين
خاصة. Thank you for
this,
Mr. Ambassador. طيب السؤال الموالي يتعلق بالتكنولوجيا اليابانية. نحن نعرف أن اليابان تمتلك تكنولوجيا متقدمة في كل المجالات. هل فيه إمكانية لرفع التعاون بينكم وبين الجزائر خاصة فيما يتعلق بالتكنولوجيا المتعلقة بالصحة والتعليم؟
Mr. Ambassador, we know that Japan possesses very advanced technology in all fields. Is it possible to raise cooperation with Algeria, especially with regard to health technology and education?
Well, in health and education areas, we have been receiving trainees from Algeria as a part of a technical cooperation in Japan before the pandemic and online during this pandemic area. And also, well, last year it was a little bit difficult to conduct this kind of cooperation. But this year, we have relaunched this type of cooperation with the help of the online technology. So it continues. And also, we have been providing scholarship to the Algerian students. Many of them are studying in Japan at the undergraduate and graduate level in science field. And many of them return to Algeria to become researchers and even those who went for more than 10 years are now university professors. And it means that those Algerian students who learned in Japan came back to Algeria and to transfer their knowledge to the Algerian students. And that's how we want to help our friendly countries, not only the one who will go to Japan, but we are very much eager to train the trainees. And that's how we develop our knowledge to the wider recipients.
جميل جدا. طيب سعادة السفير، نتحول إلى سؤال آخر يتعلق بالتعاون بين البلدين. ربما مضت سنة على تواجدك هنا في الجزائر، كيف تقيم العلاقة ما بين الجزائر واليابان؟
Mr. Ambassador, if we talk about cooperation now between Algeria and Japan, how do you assess the relations between the two countries?
Between two countries, between Algeria and Japanese.
Well, of course, we've been enjoying a very warm and friendly relationship for a long time. Since even before the independence of this country. Because, FLN opened a regional office in Tokyo in 1958. It was before the independence. It was in the height of the fight for the independence of this country. And they were enthusiastically welcomed. And we are one of the countries who first recognized the independence of this country in 1962. And since the early days of your independence, we're very proud that we have been very active in developing, for example, the hydrocarbon sector. Many Japanese companies have been very active in this country, and they still are. And there are countries who never left this country, even in difficult times, for more than 50 years.
جميل جدا. طيب سيد السفير، نتحدث عن التعاون. لو نتحدث الآن بلغة الأرقام، هل بإمكانك إعطائنا أرقام عن التبادل التجاري ما بين الجزائر واليابان، وهل فيه نية مستقبلا لرفع هذا التعاون أو التبادل التجاري؟
Mr. Ambassador, can you give us number of the trade exchange between Algeria and Japan this year, and do you intend to raise this number in the future?
Well, the trade statistics in 2019 tells that the volume of our exchange is around $650 million.
بلغ قرابة 6,000 دولار.
Because this is the year before the outbreak of the pandemic.
هذا كان قبل جائحة كوفيد-19.
2020 and 21, as the world economy slowed down, the exchange between Japan and Algeria was not
وبسبب الجائحة انخفضت قليلا أرقام التبادلات التجارية بين البلدين.
Situations, we are very much hopeful for the reactivation of the exchange between Japan and Algeria. And we buy from Algeria mainly oil and gas and also fish. And because Japan is a big fish eater, and we sell machinery, transport materials, and also just one footnote is that on bilateral exchanges, Algeria is in surplus and Japan is in deficit.
Okay. That's good. So خلينا نتحدث الآن عن الاستثمار في الجزائر وواقع الاستثمار. هناك إصلاحات عميقة قامت بها الجزائر في القطاع الاستثماري. سعادة السفير، هل يمكن أن يرفع ذلك من استعدادكم للاستثمار أكثر وأكبر وفي مجالات أكثر مستقبلا في الجزائر؟
There are deep reforms carried out by Algeria to reform the investment climate. Mr. Ambassador, can this raise your investment here in Algeria?
Well, we are very much interested in the very important reforms undertaken under the leadership of President Tebboune. And there was already a big important changes, for example, about this famous 4951 rules for the foreign investment. And also we know that elaboration of a new code d'investissement, investment code, is underway. So we are very much interested in the development of all those changes because that will pave the way for the better investment climate, which will enable potential Japanese investors to find a concrete project here. And I'm very much hopeful for the good result of those changes.
أن يجد المستثمرون هنا نقاط عديدة ومشاريع جديدة للجزائر.
طيب، هذا السؤال غير مبرمج في المقابلة، ولكن خليني أسأل الآن عن السيارات اليابانية. هي سيارات مطلوبة في الشرق الأوسط وفي شمال إفريقيا. هل فيه نية لدى اليابان أو على الأقل المستثمرين اليابانيين للاستثمار في صناعة وتركيب السيارات في الجزائر؟
Car brands are a great demand in Algerian market, and Japan is famous by their car. Is there any intention to invest in the manufacture and the assembly of cars here in Algeria?
Well, there has been already some projects underway, and well, because of some difficult times that not only Algeria, but Algeria, Japan, and all the economy goes. So there are some elements that we have to see how they develop. But we are very much hopeful that those manufacturing and industry cooperation will bear the fruits between Japan and Algeria. Algeria has a big country of potentials, and Japanese investors are looking at Algeria with a long-term perspective. And I'm very much hopeful that somehow those cooperation in investment and commercial sectors will be materialized in due course.
أي ماركات بالتحديد لسيارات ربما ترغب في الاستثمار في الجزائر؟ هل في أسماء محددة؟
Are there any names of any marks or brands in car? Can you give us names?
Well, there are car companies. I refrain from names because to be fair. But there is a concrete company who is very much interested in and having good discussion here. Well, let's see how those conversations will bear fruit.
جميل جدا. طيب سعادة السفير، فيه الكثير من المجالات ربما يختارها المستثمرين اليابانيين. طيب ما هي القطاعات المفضلة لرجال الأعمال اليابانيين للاستثمار في الجزائر؟
Mr. Ambassador, what are the sectors that Japanese businessmen prefer here in Algeria? If you give us an idea or numbers.
Well, at this point of time, well, because of the pandemic, it is true that we have now a relatively reduced number of business people, Japanese business people,
لدينا العديد من رجال الأعمال والمستثمرين اليابانيين الذين يريدون الاستثمار هنا بالجزائر.
We are seeing the return of Japanese businessmen thanks to the stabilization of the pandemic situation. And we are seeing also visitors, Japanese businessmen, who is a kind of a re-establishing the contacts and a dialogue with their Algerian partners. So I'm very much hopeful that there will be a return of bilateral commercial activities soon.
طيب معالي أو سعادة السفير، أنت موجود هنا في الجزائر منذ قرابة سنة، وأكيد زرت بعض المناطق. ربما احكي لنا تجربتك هنا في الجزائر، زرت مناطق معينة أو ولايات معينة وأعجبت بها مثلا؟
Mr. Ambassador, you have been here in Algeria for about a year, and surely you have visited many regions. If the ambassador would tell us about the regions that you visited, which region or province did you like the most?
Well, it's true that Algeria has very many attractive places, and I've been here for about 10 months now. And
وأنا هنا لدي حوالي 10 أشهر وأنا هنا بالجزائر.
It is still something that I wish to explore. Of course, for this project of the association AMEL in Shulef, I visited Shulef, and during the course of my travel to Shulef, I witnessed a very beautiful scenery along the way, and I'm very much hopeful to visit for other cities like Oran or Constantine, and also even some of my colleagues visited in towns like Gardaya and other parts of this Algeria, and I'm very much willing to visit myself as well.
جميل. طيب, I'm from Shulef originally, and I invite you to visit Shulef again. دعنا نتحدث الآن عن الأكل سعادة السفير. ما هو المميز في الأكل الجزائري؟ هل في مثلا أكلة شاهدها السفير وأعجب بها؟
I will invite you to visit again Shulef. Okay, now let's speak about the food. You have been here in Algeria for about like a year. What about the Algerian food? What is the most popular food you liked here in Algeria?
I admire Algerian foods, and
أنا معجب جدا بالأكل الجزائري.
Well, couscous has always been very important, very popular in Japan, and
there is couscous in Japan too.
Yeah, as well, and I found like other Algerian dishes very good, but one of my discovery pleasure was noodle, what they call rishta.
كان النودلز طبق الرشتا.
That was something that I didn't know until I came
هذا شيء لم أكن أعرف أنه يوجد هنا بالجزائر.
You know that Japanese noodle loving nation.
وأنت تعرف أنه اليابانيين يحبون جدا النودلز.
It's a pleasure for me to taste that.
It's good. طيب, ماذا عن الشعب الجزائري؟ ما هو رأيك في الشعب الجزائري من خلال التعامل معه؟
What about the Algerian people and dealing with them?
Well, I found they are very friendly and
very kind
and very hardworking. For example, with the people that we worked for this project in Shulef, for this association AMEL,
على سبيل المثال المشروع في
they really worked hard. We signed the grant contract for this project in December last year. On the first day of my arrival here, and they worked really hard, and so it was very encouraging for me to find some civil society group who is so efficient that completed this project in the space of about 10 months.
وكانوا شريكا ممتازا.
طيب, أنت ربما كنت قبل أن تأتي للجزائر كنت في دولة أخرى. هل تغير انطباعك أو رأيك في الجزائر والجزائريين بعدما صرت سفيرا هنا في الجزائر؟
After you came here to Algeria, did your mind opinion change about Algeria and the Algerian people?
Well, I knew only that Algeria is such a big country.
لقد كنت أعرف أن الجزائر فقط بلد كبير ولديها تاريخ عظيم.
My direct contact with Algerian
لكن اتصالي المباشر مع الجزائريين
it was only on professional basis.
كان في العلاقات المحترفة وفي الزيارات الميدانية المحترفة.
Who are very able everywhere, and but having come here and living here, so
لكن العيش هنا
I have a contact daily with Algerian people, and so
لدي تواصل مع الجزائريين.
I found them very kind and
أجدهم لطيفين
open-minded
جدا
and also very hardworking, as I said,
وكما
for
قلت
those people
سابقا يحبون
in
العمل
association ML. And it's very encouraging, and I see
وهذا شيء
very
مشجع
bright future and possibilities for
وأرى
our
مستقبلا أنه سيكون
cooperation. And
تعاون
next
بين
year we will
الشعبين.
celebrate the 60th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. This is the 60th anniversary for your independence. And this is kind of a double anniversary, and I would like to work harder to enhance our bilateral relations.
أوكي طيب نتحدث الآن عن الجانب الفني والثقافي وربما حتى اللغوي. طيلة سنة من تواجدك في الجزائر هل تعلمت كلمات باللهجة الجزائرية أو حتى العربية؟
It's been years since you're here, Mr. Ambassador. Have you learned any words in Algerian language?
شكرا جزيلا.
So it's Arabic word. Exactly. طيب سعادة السفير، ربما نتحدث عن الثقافة الجزائرية والموسيقى. هل فيه مغنيين، أفلام، ممثلين أعجبت بهم في الجزائر أو كتاب؟
Let's talk now about Algerian culture, arts, music. Are there any artists or Algerian songs or artists that you listen or like them?
Well, I listen to Algerian songs on the radio, and I found a very different kind of music.
وأجد أن لديهم أغاني مختلفة.
Algeria has a very mixed culture.
الجزائر لديها ثقافة متنوعة.
And some Western culture. It's a kind of a fusion of all those different cultures. And the songs and music represent a very good example. You have a very different kind of music, like Andalusia and also Kabyle songs, and also other more modern pop kind of music. And I love a big music lover. And I found all those different kinds of music so interesting. And
some العديد من الأذواق والتنوع في
الأغاني. Reminds me of Japanese traditional tunes as well. And there are some. Sometimes I feel some similarities in the music between Algerian music and Japanese traditional music.
أحيانا أرى أن هناك ربما في تشابه بين الأغاني الجزائرية والأغاني التقليدية اليابانية.
جميل جدا. طيب سعادة السفير، في ختام هذا اللقاء ربما أترك لك كلمة أخيرة تتوجه بها للمشاهدين. لقناة النهار وللمشاهدين.
Can you give us your last word?
Well, as I said, we are going to celebrate next year 60th anniversary of your independence, and also 60th anniversry of a bilateral relationship. And we would like to make this year a very memorable one, and we'd like to make it an occasion to deepen our bilateral relations.
ونود أن تكون هذه فرصة لتعميق العلاقات أكثر بين البلدين.
So thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, to join us here in Ennahar TV. And let me say it in Japanese. Arigato.
Arigato and shukran jazila.
شكرا جزيلا سعادة سفير اليابان بالجزائر على تشريفك لنا بهذه الزيارة. سعادة السفير أكيرا كونو، السفير الياباني بالجزائر. مشاهدينا الكرام، نواصل هذا الموعد الإخباري.